default to the Corki Nami as their natural answer, but there's also still plenty of really strong top laners up and available, and we just talked about that top lane matchup being maybe one to look out for here, as Annie going to be the takeaway to just deny that from Karis. Some playmaking potential there in the mid lane, not going to be available, as Varus still going to be up on the table, so does pair really nicely with the Nico. Now I am wondering if JDG are going to say, yeah, let's go for a Jarvan Nico, just try and utilize the Cataclysm in closed space and get as many circle abilities on our comp as possible.
And also just trap in a mobile mage with Cataclysm, right? So that's an immediate thing where, hey, if we know about doesn't have flash, I can put him into this prison of my own creation. The JunJia will lock in there. So the J4 comes through there as the first pick here for JDG. Quax, do they look to pair it maybe not with a mid laner yet for HongQ, or do you see this pick maybe being a bot lane focus?
You could go Corki Nami here. I mean, that has been also a pretty common pairing with the Jarvan, but I do like Nico. I think that Nico is not only a good capitalization for the Cataclysm, but more circles, but also a good denial. I think that Varus really enjoys having Nico on his team, but it is going to be the Aurora with the Jarvan. So 2 circles now, Slayer. We're really climbing up there in the count so far. As WE, I mean, Corki, I could see Nami having a lot of value in this game just with the disengage. I do think that, yeah, Azir has a similar function with the Emperor's Divide, being able to push enemies away, but that statement that you made about Cube going to appear untrue, at least for the time being, on the draft. The blind Aatrox, and it is worth noting, Aurora could go into the top lane. So I am wondering how this matchup would fare if Xiaoxu decides to get a little bit spicy.
How spicy of a take is it for me to say this Aatrox could go into the jungle potentially, though? Do you still feel like that's decently viable at this point? Like, what's your percentage likeliness this goes jungle? Is what I'm trying to ask.
Like 10, I think.
10%. Okay. All right. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. It would be cool if they ended up hitting that mark, but the Azir going to be locked up here, so it does give a good snap engage button over to Team WE whilst also having that disengage for champions like the Jarvan. As I see him walking away, is it because this gym was locked in? I mean, this is I know it is a champion that you dislike, but
I love playing Jhin. First of all, I do love playing Jhin.
I'm gonna be a bit more on your side here. I don't think that there is much. I don't think that there are many spells that he can use with the Deadly Flourish so far. I could see that changing if, again, they lock in the Nico, but I think that, like, you're relying on Jarvan, Flag, and Drag. You could facilitate that, but I don't know. I think I need to see what this is going to be paired up with in the bot lane for JDG before I declare judgment on this Jhin pick being false or not, as we are going to move into the second phase of bans. And yeah, I like this Yorick ban coming out here from Team W. I was actually thinking that might be what Cube goes here for in this game, because split pushing has been something else that he has kind of defaulted to when his tanks are no longer available, but it looks like he is going the complete opposite direction this game.
Yes, he is. So, I was with Jay Beto the last time we saw a Jhin come across here in the LGD EGG series. Was that like a 20% win rate? I think 22% win rate in the LPL. They did get the win on it, though. Leave did. So they were able to kind of bring that number up a bit here. We'll see if HongQ can do the same.
Interesting to see the top.
Oh, there you go.
It says Aatrox jungle. Wait.
Hey, so the 10% got hit.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Wait, we got it. Okay, so... Ooh, Nefiri has been a pretty common answer into Varus top lane.
This feels like a great
Xiaoxu is going to lock it in. I mean, hey, this is an assassin versus an AD carry. I mean, the joke writes itself, right? This is you versus me, Slayer.
I hate that. I don't ever win that. Yeah, Nefiri top here for Xiaoxu. I'm curious if any of our awesome stats team, I like to call them behind the scenes, we'll figure out when the last time we saw this Nefiri top was.
Yeah.
You said this is a common answer. Do you know if we've already seen this split?
I think we have seen this as an answer, at least this year. I don't know if it's been this split, but I do know we saw this matchup We've seen this matchup in the LPL this year before, for sure. But, I mean, looking at the comps...
Flandra, which would not shock me in the slightest.
Yeah, I believe so. But looking at the comps a little bit more holistically, like, this is a comp where I think JDG are very similar to what we saw from them in game number 2. It's very pick-oriented, but I think a lot of that pick potential is going to need to be done by JunJia, right, on this Jarvan. He's going to be the guy starting up the fights and then setting up for those resets on the Neferi ultimate, along with the, like, Aurora W as well, right? It's not just the Neferi that gets the resets that's important for these extended fights. So, yeah, if JDG can play just like they did in game number 2, I feel like this is a comp that backs up that style and should allow them to take this series. But Team WE, on the other hand, I favor them in the team fights, and I do think that they've got a lot of really good scaling. Anytime you've got a double marksman comp, you do have to factor in how it will operate at post 20 minutes, and I do think that is where they have the advantage.
On to the Rift, Game 3, Final 1, JDG, Team WE. As the Gyos do come in. All right, I feared they were going to be interrupted there if Mr. Xiaoxu face-checked the Aatrox, but Monki has decided to wait to get his level 1 shenanigans underway until our ceremonial Gyos are out of the way.
Just chasing him?
JunJia, you are trying to force a vertical jungle when the enemy jungle is behind you, and now you're on the wrong side of the Rift. Who wins level 1? I think J4 might low-key with the attack speed steroid in. The real winner here is Xiaoxu, who has found Cube trying to walk back up to his lane and chunked him down to about 10% HP. He trades Ignite for Exhaust, and if you thought it was scary to be Marksman into Assassin, how much scarier is it without access to the Exhaust?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Cube didn't even get the XP from those fallen first initial creeps either on the top side, so he's going to be down a significant amount of XP. So I actually think that Xiaoxu, the idea here is kind of similar to what we see from Jungle Neferi, just get a longsword and then immediately back. He wants to just keep his foot on the gas in this matchup. I'm actually quite surprised. Obviously, the level 1 shenanigans from the junglers probably have some influence on the direction they're pathing, but I would imagine JunJia is probably a lot more concerned about making sure the top side matchup goes his way rather than the bot lane. I think that Gala and Vampire, while still important to focus on, will be looked at more as a conduit to allow Xiaoxu to get those resets.
Nonetheless, he is maybe you just trust that Xiaoxu has this matchup already in the bag. I mean, he is level 3 before Cube even ticks over to level 2, forcing him to farm under turn. He's going to look to try and harass even further with the Darkened Daggers. That is -1 over to Cube as well. Sorry to rub salt in the wound, WE fans.
It is also worth noting that we have seen JDG be very good at tower dives on the top side, right? I think back to their series against IG, where we saw the Tryndamere paired up with things like the Alistar, where you just dove breathe under his turret 3 times and made his game unplayable. This feels like a comp that could do a similar thing, where you've got the W from Neferi, so Xiaoxu takes the aggro and then just immediately clicks that button to de-aggro the turret and get a free kill. And especially if Cube gets his flash burned, that does open up the door for a possibility. Is JunJia going to finish his clear? Monki, because of the delayed start for him, is just on his blue buff. So double crab for Jarvan, a really good opening for the jungler of JDG.
Just like game 2, maybe not as big of a lead opening as he did have in that blowout win, but a lead nonetheless on that side of the map. So we'll pick up his Gromp right after this as well and look for that initial reset. Resets have already come through here for both of our mid laners as they TP back towards their respective lanes. But it's Xiaoxu, who we are going to watch and keep a close eye on, especially with Ignite having a shorter cooldown than Exhaust. Wouldn't be shocked if he tries to just go after Cube every time he looks to step up on this wave, in a wave state that is just not favorable for this Varus.
Yeah. This is tragic for Cube. I mean, the wave is slow pushing into Xiaoxu, and that is not a position you want to be in as a ADC without your exhaust. Xiaoxu can very easily just pull the trigger on you. As Monki is wrapping around, but I don't think really any kill threat is possible here for the Aatrox. This is kind of something that we should expect from Monki on this pick. This champion really isn't great in the gank department. I mean, you're really just looking to farm up to level 6 and be a menace in the skirmishing. But as we've already established quite clearly, Slayer, when it comes to skirmishing, JDG just feel like the superior comp. And frankly, they feel like the superior team. All the way back in the post-show, or rather the pre-show, we talked about how WE tend to fall apart in a lot of these post-10 to 12-minute fights.
Well, we're not there yet, and their bottom lane's at least able to get some good chunks here into Gala. But yeah, really to further compound your point about this Aatrox, regardless where it was going to go for WE, I think JDG have drafted so well with all this dash and spacing. It's what Aatrox hates to play against here. Bottom lanes for WE hate to play into ganks. Good flash from JunJia to follow a bounce flash. Still gets the knockup, but the Valkyrie gets away from the deadly flourish. So it is the flash off of the enemy AD carry. That's the big win there for JunJia on his gank.
And this is going to mean that About and Arha are going to have a harder time playing up with that safety in mind. So JunJia is getting very close to level 6. Once he gets that Cataclysm, we talked about it in the draft. If he uses that Valkyrie wisely, that is just going to be a dead Corki for JDG. Dragon up on the board, maybe they get an excuse to try and punish that sometime soon, but Monki is actually the first one to the river. Maybe he's the one that starts up the objective.
We'll have to see. Both junglers here and present, neither with their ultimates. Vampire is cosplaying as a minion, and he will show himself. This is definitely what you want to see in the main strength of having that Nico always, even if the support meta has changed so much. You want to get this Nico attached to the jungler's hip, and they play in tandem. That's exactly what Vampire's doing, is all of JDG's bot lane overloads here towards this Drake pit. They get the crab that I believe secures... No, not level 6 just yet. JunJia should get it off this dragon, though.
Yeah. Still really difficult for WE to walk in here, but they're going to try anyway.
He's going after HongQ for JunJia. He picks up the dragon. Now he's going for the turn. He has that Cataclysm between worlds dropped through for HongQ. Deadly Flourish doesn't land onto a bout, but his Valkyrie's already down. Gets knocked up from JunJia. Dunk doesn't even need to come through. Instead, JunJia's going to use it to get out of the engage. Arha flashes the same way. Really nice use of the J4 kit there from JunJia. And first blood is over to JDG once more.
And just like we said, Dragon is up. There's a flashless Corki. They immediately turn onto him, and About gets punished. That Phage is not going to save you. And first blood, along with the Dragon, over JDG. Now, looking back to live here, we can see that Monki still isn't level 6. He should have one more camp to go before he inevitably hits that break point on the Aatrox. So maybe it gives WE some skirmishing potential back ahead of these grubs in about 45 seconds, but JDG on the same page, and this Nefiri still relatively untouched, as well as 20 CS up over Cube. It feels like a hard sell to tell me that WE will have the advantage in this fight, even if Aatrox hits level 6, Slayer.
Yeah, it really feels like WE need to kind of sack control of the map, maybe even like try and... I feel like your point is so valid, Quax. They really have to give these grubs and wait for them to get to a more powerful state. Do you feel like things may get a bit easier if they can get some of these guys onto first items, or is it just rough all around?
I look at how starved Cube is. He has a ruby crystal, like,
hey, and cloth armor.
Well, okay, and refillable. Okay, you know what? You're right. My bad. But
no, not your bad. He's staring down triple long.
Like it's tough, right? Because we're talking about first items. Like, they've barely begun. So it's going to be a while at this point, as JunJia is actually dropping the grubs to defend his big chicken. I respect.
This is a pride thing, right, for JunJia?
Yeah. It's a pride thing for all junglers.
Oh, Vampire is going to Tangle Barb, catch on Arha, Deadly Flourish combo, curtain call, Gala. Let's see how easy he is to find these shots. Fourth shot should get the kill. Arha sidesteps as the other side stream. Shuffle comes down from Karis to try and get JG off of him. He flashes over a wall for safety, only finds Gala. Finds the first kill. Deadly Flourish is going to land onto Monki, and the fourth shot doesn't even need to come through. JunJia finds the next kill in his own hometown jungle. And JDG only expand further on their kill lead.
Yeah, and Gala was saying, all right, Arha got away from me. I am getting a kill right now. Commits the flash to... kill secured, I say in air quotations. He was 100% dead no matter what. And then JunJia cosplaying as Spider-Man, using that Q to go back to the flag, knocking up everyone on Team WE. And JDG win the skirmish yet again, just further putting ahead a lot of these champions on their comp. As we do get a replay, so Karis goes in, really good Cataclysm to buffer the knockback, gets the knockup onto Karis. Gala flashes for the kill. Monki is completely isolated. And then, yeah, gets the knockup once again. JunJia played that fight perfectly, Slayer.
Yeah, he's really showing off the J4 tech, right? We already saw him use the Cataclysm defensively to hop out of a potentially risky engage, and now, like you mentioned, already buffering ultimates. Something we saw him, I've seen him do a past as well in a lot of these close call skirmishes. JunJia on a champion that feels pretty straightforward, showing off some tech that hopefully you guys can take home to your own games. Or right now for JunJia, gets JDG the series win, and the way he's playing right now, maybe a player of the game award at this pace, is he will once again catch Monki walking into his own jungle. This is deja vu from game 2, man. Quax, it's JunJia up a full level, and just not even a little bit afraid of Monki fighting him back, and there's more camps to stack up a huge CS lead here for JunJia.
I mean, he's up a full level and he's up half an item, right? We can see that Sundered Sky advantage coming through, and now Karis can't even go under his own turret.
Good Emperor's Divide. HongQ's getting poked out before he even takes turret aggro. He does not hit the E out, but JunJia just says, I got you, bro. Let me dunk onto this guy's head. And 10 minutes.
And now Karis is going to, I mean, lose so much for that. We see the wave come through.
House Pursuit. Xiaoxu looking for the turn with the Ignite. Does he have enough damage with the bleed?
Oh, the bleed!
The bleed! Kill down himself. No! Karis survives at about under 50 HP.
I mean, both top laners limp their way out of that exchange. You can see Monki maybe looking for more.
Oh, okay. Xiaoxu cancels the back. But now he's kind of caught here. The wave's still a ways away. I do see JunJia in the area. Cube's going to bring the wave up. Are they going to turn this on to Monki? His recall gets stopped. He thinks the dive looks good, but here's JunJia again, like the nightmare Monki still can't awake from. Uses the World Ender to try, gets some move speed, looks for the turn back into JunJia. Does flash wait for the Cube.
Oh,
here comes HongQ with a flash of his own. Cube goes down, and Monki falls right back after him. Top side diff right now for JDG.
And now they save Xiaoxu from a bit of a precarious spot. I mean, that wave was going to be pushed in, but not only does he manage to catch some of the minions, he gets the kill gold as well, so the Neferi is eating good. Everyone on JDG is significantly ahead of their counterparts, but it's most apparent in mid and jungle. JunJia and HongQ returning to their form that made them so dominant in split number 1, giving us a reminder of why this team finished second earlier this year and went to first stand. It was a better late than never situation for this squad, where they didn't show up initially in the split, I would say, Slayer, but over time have looked gradually better and more in sync with one another, and that is no more apparent than the mid jungle of this 5-stack. As they are 1.3k gold up over both of their counterparts. Dragon is on the map. All of WE are around this bot side, but they're so far behind. I frankly do not think they can fight for this Dragon.
But at a certain point, they're going to have to try here, Quax, because they have to stem the bleeding in some way. As you called out aptly, they won't look to do it on this Dragon. It is on a ward, but Monki will stick the recall, and that means there is no contest. Second drink of the game getting picked up by JunJia alone. And I do want to use this as a time to revisit the Jhin conversation, because I always like to do this once we get into game, because I always need to see the build path here. My man Mazel, if he's out there, can help me out with this until, okay, Vampire wants to interrupt me. Pop Blossom onto 2. Valkyrie gets interrupted from about. The tidal wave and the damage from Monki is enough. Between Worlds is going to come out here for a good decent amount of burst, and the curtain call is coming downtown, looking to find a kill. It's HongQ for the first one, and Arha will limp away to tell the tale of more JDG dominance.
Yup, and now, I mean, turret should be all but secured on that bot side. Karis is going to get a few plates for him being alone in the lane, as well as complete that role quest, so the unique boots will come through for him as well. That just feels like a consolation prize at best here for Team WE as they continue to bleed out in game number 3. And the whole time that dive was happening, I was like, all right, one of them is dying for sure. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be about Arha? And then for like half a second, I was like, oh my god, it's going to be both of them. But then it ended up only being the Corki. So a kill over to JDG. They don't get the turret, but now Monki is very deep in enemy territory with very little vision on where everyone else on JDG is at the current time.
Oh man, Monki really just wants to steal away that Raptor. There's something personal for it in them. He's gonna take a huge blast cone over to find Xiaoxu waiting in a brush, but hard to lock down the Fury. Team WE overload on the bot side, and that means Vampire pays the ticket towards the top side, where Cube is just still trying to catch up and get that first item. Instead, he'll get pushed off his top tier 1, and Gala and JunJia hammering onto the mid tier 2 turret at 15 minutes. Here comes the dive though onto Xiaoxu. They're TPing to make this a 4 versus 1. Tries to go untargetable, but the shutdown will come through from about even before Cube gets down here. So now they'll go after the turret objective bounty.
I mean, Cube just gets to be an eyewitness and steal some of the plate money here as well. So a little bit of income coming in for both marksmen of Team WE, but a lot of income going there for the JDG mid laner. HongQ going to trade back a turret of his own. At the same time, that Herald is also going to be a casualty. We can see that JunJia is taking that. So even though they get the kill, even though they get the turret, JDG end up getting more resources in the cross map at the end of all of this. This just feels like such a precarious and dire situation that Team WE have found themselves in, where even when they win, JDG still managed to find gold on the map. And now Xiaoxu is walking up very unafraid, has the Hound's Pursuit and both Summoner spells, but is not going to try and chance it for an opportunity to get some sushi.
Well, he's going to walk into a dangerous spot. He's going to find 3 members there. Hound's Pursuit, Arhawk, great tidal wave to interrupt it. It does end up being the play that should save him. Nope, the Bleeding Knight will trade him out, but that is a worthy cause to get some very critical gold onto a bout. But what's happening on the other side of the map while all his bot lane skirmishing's going down, Quax?
I mean, so Xiaoxu does end up getting some sushi at the end of all of that, but he pays his life for it. 1 for 1. I would say WE are favored there, but it's going to turn into more than just a 1 for 1. Cube is getting flanked, and he doesn't even know it.
In the arms of an angel, fly in the air to a pop blossom and a deadly flourish. Goodbye, Cube.
A little pitchy there, but you know.
Yeah, like I don't know how to sing, so I'm sorry if you guys threw it, but 8 out of 10, that's pretty high for being pitchy. I'll take it. Thanks, Quack.
Yeah. A bias score a little bit because you're goated. But now we do see, I mean, HongQ manages to help secure that kill and bot, pushes that wave in. There are some wards on WE. You can see that there's some vision laid down for them on that bot side of the map, but honestly, with how ahead JDG are, as long as they have control over mid-wave, they should be able to just walk into the river and secure themselves soul point. I don't think there's anything that WE can really throw at them to disengage them from taking back that area, even if they are seen while moving to that location.
All right, let's take some stock of where everything is at on the map here with JDG up to a 5K gold lead. They are looking to go after Soul Point Chemtech Drake in this one. And Chemtech Drake would definitely be very helpful for a champion like the Fury, and just anybody in those low HP fights. Monki is trying to force his way into the jungle once more to get some of these wards down, but there's still a blue ward in the pit, and JDG look to commit all 5 members over towards this river. It looks like we're going to get our first true 5v5 of the game, but I don't know how much Team WE really want that sort of mess.
JDG are a little split, though, at the current moment. There's 2 in mid, there's 2 in jungle, and there's 1 in bot. So JDG could look to try and pincer.
Oh, Xiaoxu going in, goes untargetable over the tidal wave, but there was way more than enough burst there to get rid of Xiaoxu, so he's down immediately. Monki does burn the World Ender, so he won't have access for that for this dragon, but JDG, a rocky start to this one. They're going to have to go at it 4 versus 5, maybe 4.5 versus 5. Monki chunked down pretty low, and a flank is a brewing. Vampire. Oh, has to pick his time to show himself in that pixel brush, and he's spotted. No. Pop Blossom used defensively. Good Emperor's Divide, though, from Karis. Gala uses the Deadly Flourish to get Vampire out. Turn call coming down. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4. Does not find the kill. HongQ forces 1 flash as Monki gets pushed out of the pit. JunJia gets the Cataclysm there on that one. Very messy fight is about bounce forward on top of HongQ. Goes invis, but the Gatling gun still finds that kill. Vampire will not drop. This about is traded back out. Team WE have a man advantage, but they are far from healthy enough to stop this dragon. So as crazy as that fight got, Quax, JDG do get what they came for at the end of the day.
I mean, they have a mana advantage, like you said, Slayer, but Xiaoxu is also coming back from his original death onto the map. So Team WE have to respect the health bar difference, like you said, and they are going to end up giving away soul points to JDG.
Karis disrespect the health bar difference. Flash, a targetable here from Xiaoxu. Gets the first kill. That's a reset of a cooldown. And he gets his revenge on Arha. Double up for Xiaoxu, who is feasting with the pack.
Yup. Double kill over to the Nefiri. I was getting a little bit concerned on the value of this pick up until that point, as I think that Xiaoxu just kind of overestimated his damage. But now Cube,
I'm not singing
I think, overestimates his chances of getting out.
There are 0 chances here. Wonder if they're just going to try and give the kill over to Gala. I don't know what Gala was really waiting for there. He's hitting a ward while JunJia was finishing off that kill on the Cube, which made it a bit closer, but Cube does fall once more.
Hey man, if there's anything that we talked about in game number 2, it was the value of ward gold, especially if you were behind, as Gala maybe feels behind.
Vampire gets caught by a bubble. HongQ though between worlds, and oh my god, you blink, you miss it. Arha gets deleted. Vampire does go down. Another bit of gold back to About here, who's quietly farmed 3 kills of his own. That's all that WE will get. Trades are at least good for them for how far behind they are.
WE are spending a lot of time trying to, you know, rebuild this top side. There's the Nefiri in the bot lane just cordially farming and getting resources. We do go back to a replay here, and I'm interested to see, like, if there was maybe a moment where WE could have turned this fight around. Monki separating himself from the rest of the team is kind of a no-no for me, but besides that, like, you don't really have, like, a full commit engage. About decides to go in and has my respect for doing that. He just wanted some action to happen in the fight, but WE don't end up being the ones to get the dragon at the end of the day, so they don't get a reward for About's bravery, I guess is the word we can use to call that Valkyrie forward onto all of JDG. So soul point now for them. Yeah, he did get a kill. Soul point for them, and now HongQ looking onto Karis. But two more minutes until that Drake. I mean, WE, can they even do anything until that happens? I feel like the answer might legitimately be no.
It's going to be tough. It's one of those scenarios where you feel like JDG have to slip up for WE to find an angle, sort of, right? It's even hard for them to farm their camps here. Monki will finally grab those wolves, and if we do have a bit of a lull, I'm seeing some resets here from JunJia. This is a point, the point I was trying to make earlier that we did not get to here. Mazel, if you're still listening, this one's for you, my friend. This is why me and Mazel are good with Jin Jin picks, is if you build like this. It's the Gala Stormrazor start. You know, you don't have to go IE second, you can go IE third. Stormrazor into full crit here. You get move speed and a lot off of those crits. So this is the Jin build that me and Mazel have stamped as approved for picks in the LPL.
I mean, it's super valuable to have movement speed in this game, right? Because there are a bunch of pick tools on the side of Team WE that you can just kind of run away from. If Aatrox pops his World Ender, you just auto him and wait for the timer to run out as well. So JDG have done a really good job, I think, at responding to what Team WE want to do in these team fights, which is, you know, find the resets on the World Ender and try and get Monki ahead in this game. But he's just going to kind of run on empty at this point. Really hasn't had the opportunity to accomplish much of anything here in game number 3 on this unique pick, and now I feel like time is starting to run out, as even though he's getting more of those builds, he's not getting nearly enough gold to really be a meaningful threat. Dragging up in a little over a minute, and JDG have control of the waves, they've got control of the river, WE don't have the damage to cross map, so I feel like this is just a situation where they say, all right, maybe we'll get some like waves in the top lane, maybe we'll get some plates on that top turret, but beyond that, there really isn't much for them to play for unless JDG send HongQ top and maybe give WE a numbers advantage temporarily.
HongQ does have the teleport, so he'll be able to rejoin whenever. Gala is resetting now, though. I think the only way this makes sense is if he has IE on back, which I assume he will as he runs out of fountain. Yep, so he's up to 3 items. About was actually up an item before this Drake fight, so Gala made it a really crucial point to say, I need to match this, and the IE is a hell of a power spike with this build for Gala, so Jin's going to hurt real hard, and yeah, this really feels like the game coming, Quax. Hextech Soul up for the grabs at 24 minutes here for JDG, and WE are saying, you can have it. We want as much gold as we can claim here for the... Or they'll have their cake and eat it too. They're going to try and walk in here late. Turret's going to go down. Monki on the front line, already chunked about half HP. The Dragon's at about 4K. HongQ, good dodge on that bubble coming out here. Monki, though, it's just so hard for him to ever step up here. The curtain call is really going to push everybody back here. They're trying to go after HongQ, but JDG are pushing and pulling them in every which way they can possibly think of. Monki World Ender, Pop Loss, we go over his head because Vampire wants the killing blow. He gets it onto all 3 carries, and boom goes the dynamite. Monki and Karis are the only ones to live, but only one of them will truly survive, as Xiaoxu will use the Hound Pursuit to find that kill. And it's only Monki to limp away. JDG just blew this game, this series, completely out of the water with one fight. And HongQ may just get to put the cherry on top here if he really wants to go after Monki. It's the Chemtech Soul nonetheless. And maybe this series finally wrapped up, Quax.
Yeah, it might just be, like you said, Soul active. They're on to the Baron. HongQ has the Chemtech Soul, so Monki, I don't know if this health bar advantage that you're trying to press the issue of is really as big of an issue as you think it is. He's going to end up disengaging that 1v1, but really crucial fight there for JDG, and the way they played it was so immaculate. Multiple different members of JDG coming in from multiple different angles. Xiaoxu from the right, then we had HongQ from the left, and then everyone else from JDG just charging forward. There was nowhere for WE to go. They got, like you said, pulled from all parts, and they got ripped to shreds.
It's just like game 2. JDG parry an early Soul into an immediate Baron and call wraps. This time on the series as they'll set up into another Baron formation. Monki is overloading with Karis to try and go after another turret objective, the bounty. But JunJia was going to look to cover here with HongQ nearby. And Monki goes right back over the wall. He dashed over, but now HongQ's here with him. Decent amount of mobility with these two. They can look to chase down. Promo belt forward versus a dash out of Karis. He puts up a turret of his own. Feels like JunJia and HongQ, though, might just be stalling the rest of the team's push, where they'll really go after Karis. Again! JunJia using the J4 tech to dodge the Emperor's Divide, and the Hound's Pursuit forward will sentence Monki to death once more. Man, it is so fun to watch JunJia on J4, man.
Yeah, he has been super pinpoint accurate with those Cataclysms to buffer any CC that Team WE try to throw his way to disengage that Jarvan from the fight. He will not allow it. JDG get another couple of picks, and now a look at the waves in top and mid. They're going to squeeze their hand around the throats of WE here in game number 3. This turret should eventually fall. Wave is coming in, and then that tier 2 on the top side as well will go down. So JDG looking to tie a ribbon on this game, and HongQ looking to bloody it up a little bit.
Gets rid of Arha. Pop goes the Nami. And that's the first kill of what could be the final push here. Middle inhibitor goes down. Gala frontlining into Monki. That's just how far ahead JDG are, baby. Chains of Corruption is going to land on a Vampire. Turns around with the Tangle Barbs. He will not even drop, though, thanks to the Chemtech Soul. And he releases the hounds known as Xiaoxu onto any unsuspecting members of WE. There's the JunJia final knockup. And the series is over. We started with such a high. Team WE, their first win of Split 2, but JDG pissed off at giving that record over, win the next 2 in dominating fashion to take the series.
6-3 series score now is what JDG hold themselves at, Slayer, and from where they started, which is what I believe it was like, what, they were like 1-3 or something like that. A really rough beginning to the split. They're going for the full turnaround. No mistakes, really, other than that game number 1, which was a really back and forth match, if I do say so myself. But games 2 and 3, clinical. This was so expertly done from JDG. I think they kind of got a cold splash of water from that first game and really just locked in. They barely gave WE any room to breathe in those last 2 games.
I agree wholeheartedly, Quax. And I also think like the Tabe draft creativity came back around in this one. We can talk about that in a little bit, though, once we get to these post-game stats, and we can actually see champions on our screen once again here, Quax. But first, our awesome producer, Shivam, has updated our standings. So we can quickly go there. Sorry to make you click so many buttons so fast there, production, but thank you. We got the standings back up, updated as ever. And Quax
tied for
look
second.
Look at 1 through 4-4. Even 1 through 4, right? Like 7-2, 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. And if I'm not mistaken, we still have to wait for TES and AL to play tonight.
Yeah, so either one of these guys lose their series and JDG could shoot up a little bit in the standings. The night's definitely not over. Like you said, there's still 2 more series out of us. It's Super Saturday, and we are going to make the most of it. It was a really banger opening, though, to see WE get their first win. As I mean, these standings aren't fully updated. It says WE are 0-18. They're 1-18 now.
True, yeah. They are 1-18.
Put some respect on their name.
We got to give him that 1.
There we go.
Let's go, Jamal. There we go. We got the 1 there. All right. So still a winning day for WE, and JDG are gonna make the top 4 race so much fun as we are in the midst of our second round robin here for Split 2 regular season. Quax, let's go back though to a point that I wanted to harp on because we opened our series talking about Tabe draft diffs, right? I really want to give him his flowers here for A, handling the flex, the WE, trying to throw it in, but B, mostly, this was the worst game I think you could ever play Aatrox in, and I'm sure you and our other resident jungler, Rafa, would agree with me on that one. How do you ever play into a comp that has no tanks and everyone with dashes?
I mean, I've been a big Aatrox naysayer, honestly. Like personally, me, I think the champion is really bad in jungle. But I mean, like, you basically need him to hit level 6. You need him to get 2 items. You need to have a tank around him. You need to have, like, 2 other sources of engage around him. He's basically the Yunara of jungle for, like, maybe 1/5 of the return of Yunara, right? We talked about how both drafts need to be centered around that one champion in game number 2 where Yunara is super important. It's like a similar-ish kind of story with Aatrox, but you do not get nearly the same safety, nearly the same damage output, or nearly the same reward as you do with Yunara, as you do with Aatrox. So, like, to me, it's just not worth picking the champion. And I do think that Tabe's response to the character was very apt, because even if he does get ahead, even if he does get fed, like, there is a bunch of slipperiness from Neferi, there's a flag and drag from Jarvan, there's weirding from HongQ, a bunch of escape tools from Aurora as well, and then that Storm Razor movement speed that you kind of highlighted on the compliments with the build from Gala Slayer. It's just so difficult for Monki to play this game, even if we don't take into account how poorly WE drafted around this Aatrox. JDG drafted with that in mind, and they were never going to let him get fed just at all.
I still respect the fact that Monki wants to play the game his way, on his team as the captain, like looking for these invades. It's just, I'm glad we used the cinematic for that. That's just, I'm gonna start calling that you think of a creative move for JunJia with some of these cataclysms, right? Like we'll come back to it, Quax, like a fancy way to talk about it, because he's doing these every time he plays Jarvan. I see it once a game with these cataclysm jukes.
We'll workshop the name, right?
We'll get back to you guys.
I agree with you. He does this all the time. One of JunJia's most played this split is the Jarvan, so it's like a common thing from him as well. And hey, you know, I've always been saying that I think one thing that separates like Gen 1 League of Legends and Gen 2 League of Legends is lack of plays named after a player, right? Like Gen 1, we had like the Insec, right? We had the Mad Life, a bunch of these fun plays named after players. We don't get that anymore. I think the closest we've gotten is like the perks when you're Tryndamere and you don't click R on the character. But that's like a deep pull.
Or the Sven when you just die like an idiot on Israel.
Or the Blabber when you die to the crowd. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. We do have some generation.
But all of the new ones are starting to be negative.
I know. Like, they're all like, oh, you're bad and you're stupid and you're silly. Right. Let's get to, you know, I was being positive about Team WE. This is my note. Be positive, all right? We're gonna have a positive play named after JunJia before the split ends. That is my vow.
Okay, well, here's my vow to our next 2 caster crews that have to come through here, Quax. They're either gonna spew hatred towards me or be thankful that I've used my caster curse to help them. We had a full 3-game series here. We have 2 more series, which means we're gonna have 9 games, right, everybody? Keep it in mind, a 9-game
You're cursing
day.
our producer too, by the way, with that.
It's reverse jinx. It's reverse jinx, okay? That's exactly what I'm doing. It's reverse jinx. All right, Quax, there's an interview running, so I want to pick your brain. Talk to me, player of the game, game 3, and then I'll say my player of the series, because I think it shouldn't be who maybe people are thinking?
I would say JunJia is player of the game for me in game number 2. Player of the series is tough, but I would honestly probably still give it to JunJia because I think that
so
you were making a really compelling argument yourself from game number 2 about him wanting to get, or him needing to get player of the game for that match where HongQ inevitably got it. I think he was easily second place for that, and he's first place for this one, so I feel like if we're adding those sums up, he should probably be MVP for this series, yeah.
Quax, that's why you're my homie, man. Exactly how I was thinking. JunJia is being interviewed, so we're not going to be able to see if he does get player of the game, player of the series. If you watch during the intermission screen, you might get to see it. But we have to set up our next matchup here, Quax. That is going to be Top Esports, who are starting to falter a bit, taking on Weibo Gaming off of their 3-game loss to IG just a night ago. And we're going to bring in a new caster pairing. K-Man is going to be replacing my man Quax here. And then I'm starting to fan out a little bit here. Dia, they will replace me. So once Dia gets on here, make sure to tell them that I'm just such a big fan. But for myself, it's Quax. That will close out our night. Enjoy Series 2 and 3 of Super Saturday. Second series coming your way.